Hi there, you're with Simon here at English Coach, and I'm here to talk to you a little bit about mentoring today, and specifically mentoring people who don't want to be mentored in a situation inside a company where you or someone like you is responsible for looking after a team and mentoring some of its members to get the best results out of them. Now, firstly, let's have a look at why this is really difficult to do. I want you to think for a second about what kind of resistance employees will put up, especially if they're a little bit skeptical about the process of mentoring, or they're a little skeptical about having a new leader. And this is the main thing that connects with this, not just being your employee's mentor, but being a new leader to them and then being able to mentor them or understand how they work so that you can help them get even better performance and even better results. So, what do you do when you're in the position to help this person grow professionally, but there's resistance? Just taking a swig of my coffee to give you the opportunity to think about this question. So, of course, it's better to know why the person is resistant, but sometimes you just don't have that kind of, um, you don't have that option. You don't have that option to know exactly why there is resistance. So, how do you go about getting success from an employee that doesn't really want to be mentored? Well, I guess if I could make a comparison, it's a little bit like when you start a very, 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 very small step in creating a business, in creating your first business perhaps. And that is, the smaller you go, the more successful you will be. So instead of trying to convince them of something within the first half an hour or first 20 minutes of your exchange, you just establish a few, you just establish a few things you have in common with that person, or perhaps you ask a few questions that could allow you to know what you have in common. Establish a common ground. That's what I'm saying. Establish a common ground, but not by asking about politics or religion. Starting really small with things that are almost insignificant when you're talking about, having things in common with another person. I'm talking about really insignificant things like TV programs, favorite foods, hobbies, interests. What I'm saying to you is start off on common ground. If you're going to be doing any kind of mentoring or coaching and the other person is suspicious or really skeptical about the process, it's part of your role to start on common ground. And don't think about trying to achieve anything in the first day, except perhaps less anxiety on behalf of your employee or even yourself. Okay? So this is a process that's generally going to take a month. Maybe you have some kind of pressure on you to get it done quicker, but the best way you go about this is by giving yourself enough time to find A, common ground, and then B, slowly but surely extending that common ground into other areas. Once you have a friendly base, carrying that positive vibration into how you may contrast and how they may have different ideas, they may have a different lifestyle. And then by understanding what kind of lifestyle they are, you can understand what kind of beliefs they have, because those things generally connect. And then by understanding what kind of beliefs they have, then you can start understanding how to help them. And then you can make questions or direct questions based on the kind of beliefs they have. You can help them from their world and not from yours. Now, why is that important? If you have an employee or someone underneath you in the company that you're responsible for, and they are suspicious or skeptical about the process of coaching or mentoring, when you come to talk to them, your results will always be bad. Now you can create that big talk, and you can create beautiful excuses in a positive way, still using positive language to say, oh, we had a fantastic, amazing talk, but I'm afraid that they're still not ready to hear what I have to say, or to understand this next process, or to take the next step. When, in actual fact, that's bullshit. When you know that that person who you're going to mentor or who you are going to coach is skeptical and is suspicious, because 90% are like that. That's a given. That's the obvious beginning point. Half of them want to tell you about the fact they think they're not being paid enough. The other half are talking about things that they can see going wrong in the company, and nobody's listening to them. Right? And you're not the person to listen to these things. You're not the person who can act on that. You're the person just to help them perform and get better at what they're doing. But part of that is to gain their trust. Part of that improvement in their performance, part of that improvement in how they run their day-to-day routine to get higher results and more efficiency and more productivity, well, that's going to require you to incorporate a little trust in there. And incorporating trust begins with what? Establishing common ground. Not making excuses about, oh, they didn't get the message on the first day. No, it takes longer than one day for you to get through to an employee and sit them down and really get them to understand this message. So once you've done that, like I said, you branch out. And notice that the smaller you start, the more successful you are. And the longer you spend on those first little steps, the easier it is to build on top of that. Going from talking about really interesting and pleasant things that they experience in their personal lives, aspects of their life that they love, and then slowly bringing it back to the professional side. So, what are you really enjoying this year about the company? Let's focus on the positive things. Now, of course, maybe they want to bring it back to something negative and say, but, at the end of the sentence, but, I love this part of the company. I like working here because of X, Y, Z, but, and then you need to be open to listening to what they're saying and receive that, but then bring them back again. Because if you are mentoring or coaching one of your employees in performance for them to do a better job, you have one goal, and that is to make them focus on what can be done. What can be done and what is in the realm of possibility. Not on how to fix problems in the company that have existed for more than a year. Not on how to change things that are incredibly difficult to change. So this is very interesting. This is a very interesting conversation that you have to have with some of your employees if you're a team leader. And I hope you take this video. I hope you start from that tiny first step and go to a point where you can conduct their minds to thinking perhaps a little bigger and longer term about what is possible for them inside the company, giving them some real honest incentives about what they can get out of working for the company if their performance goes up and if they are able to achieve more in the time that they've been given. You see what I mean? So going all the way from something insignificant about their life outside of work to exactly what they want from the company, and then being able to mold them more by having built that trust and starting small. Okay, thank you for watching this video today. I'll see you next time on English Coach.